What's up, music fam? With all the talk about AI, or artificial intelligence, with the technology so rapidly advancing, a lot of people are wondering where we're going to fit into this new world that's being created. Well, as I've been finding myself saying a lot lately, there's good news and there's bad news for us beat makers. So I'm back, making another R&B beat for you, as to answer the question, will AI replace beat makers? From my point of view, of course. If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. What we're being shown is all part of a bigger plan. Decades before AI was introduced to us as a society, its engineers already knew that there would come a day when we would lose control over it. Because AI would advance so fast that we humans would not be able to compete. They even talked about AI being the end of us as a species. But because they were led by pure evil, they couldn't resist the urge to continue to develop it. They just had to taste that forbidden fruit, open up that third eye. See, as a Christian, there's a knowledge that I want no part of. Let's go back to the beginning of humanity. In Genesis 2, God placed the first man, Adam, in the Garden of Eden to do what we call today work. Everything was pleasant, and all Adam had to do was maintain this perfect garden and take care of the animals. God told Adam that he could eat from any tree except one. It was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. He told him that the day that he ate from that tree, he would die. Okay, so we know the story. Adam's wife, Eve, was deceived and tempted by the serpent. The serpent told Eve that she would not die if she ate from that tree. He said that God just didn't want them to eat from that tree because God knew that the day they ate from it, their eyes would be open, and they would be like gods, knowing good and evil. This was the lie of all lies, the deception of all deceptions. We were never meant to have that knowledge of good and evil, just good. But Adam and Eve fell for it. See, Eve saw that the fruit from this tree was good for food, pleasant to the eyes, and it would make them wise, or at least wise in their own minds. So they fell for it. They ate from that tree, and they were never the same. Their eyes were open, and there was a knowledge they obtained that they could never unobtain. They looked at their bodies, and for the first time, they saw that they were naked. They were suddenly ashamed of the bodies that God gave them, and they had to hide from the God that created them. By the way, this serpent that deceived them was actually Lucifer in disguise. Lucifer's body was literally described as an assembly of multiple musical instruments. Back in 1984, a company called Kurzweil Music Systems created what was considered to be the first successful attempt to emulate the sound of a real grand piano with the help of Stevie Wonder. This was a game changer. We already had MIDI synthesizers, so we were able to sequence and manipulate those sounds with the use of computers. But this gave us the ability to do so with realistic sounds. But there's more to the owner of that company, Ray Kurzweil. Ray Kurzweil wasn't just a synthesizer creator. He was a genius. He started inventing when he was 5. Among many other things, he created the first synthesized or artificial human voice. He also created the first reading machine for the blind. By the way, remember what the serpent told Eve, that her eyes would be open. The company used to create this was called Nuance, which created Siri. Ray Kurzweil excelled at teaching computers pattern recognition in order to replicate realistic things, such as sounds. It amazes me that with all his genius, and with all the things he's capable of, the thing that gave Ray Kurzweil his worldwide recognition was a musical instrument. That just goes to show the power of music. But it doesn't stop there for him. Ray Kurzweil has dedicated his life to ushering in the singularity. In 2005, he published a book called The Singularity is Near, When Humans Transcend Biology. His previous books were called The Age of Intelligent Machines and The Age of Spiritual Machines. This is not a man who just talks. When he speaks, he has the genius and the drive and the money to execute. and it's very hard to find a conversation with Ray Kurzweil where he doesn't talk about the singularity. So what is the singularity? The singularity is twofold, but for the purpose of this video, it's basically where we become one with computers, and we won't be able to reverse it once it happens. Imagine not having to look at your phone to Google something, but to rather just think about it and the knowledge is already within you. Imagine not having to play a keyboard, but to just think about a part and it's already sequenced into your DAW. That sounds great for us beatmakers, right? But what happens when your client no longer needs you because they now have the knowledge to do the same thing? Or what happens when the corporation just thinks, I like a happy sounding, lighthearted guitar melody with a whistle and hand claps, and I want it to be 1 minute long, and they no longer need you as a creative to do it? Or even beyond that, what if they're able to just think, I need the perfect music for this video, and it automatically appears? Well, that's what the singularity is, and that's what it means for us as beatmakers. AI will create the most perfect sounding violin with the most perfect melody in the most perfect room with the most perfect reverb. And to complement that, it will create the most amazing drum pattern with the most beautiful chords and with the most beautiful changes, all with the perfect mix. And the mix you hear can sound totally different from the person's mix sitting right next to you, based on preference. Everything will be perfect except for one thing. There will no longer be a need for a human beatmaker. That's the bad news. So while we're sitting back watching AI fly our planes, cook and deliver our food, create our movies, with artificial actors and artificial music, what will we be doing? Well, many experts and proponents of AI and the singularity say that this will free us up to do what we want to do. But imagine a world where no one really has to work. Remember Adam's purpose in the book of Genesis. He was placed in the garden to work. And from that work, he was able to eat from the garden. As much as we might complain about working, or even try to invent ways to make it easier, we actually take pride in our work. It gives us purpose. To look back after a day of hard work and see your accomplishments means something to you. I know after I've sat in a long session where I've made a beat, helped the artist write a song, and record that song, it just gives me a good feeling to sit back and listen to the fruits of our labor. So what happens when we no longer need to do the work and we can just skip to the end result? Well, I have a feeling that we'll start to realize who's really doing it for the love and who's doing it for other reasons. As for me, I'm going to make music regardless of whether AI can do it more quickly, or even better. I personally think that creative jobs will be the longest lasting jobs for humanity. Sure, people could always go to an art gallery and look at beautiful paintings created by non-humans, or created by humans who didn't actually work to create them. But I think there will always be people who appreciate art created by actual humans based on their life experiences. The question is not whether AI can do the job better, because it most definitely will. It's getting exponentially better. And with humans combining with AI, or with a singularity, humans will get exponentially better. But then there will be those who reject the singularity and want to remain completely human. Those of us who think the DNA God put in us is just fine. Those of us who don't want that mark. We'll continue to be mere humans with our limited capabilities as we watch those who become one with AI surpass us. But what will it profit them to gain the world and lose their souls? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. His works. I know this got a little deep, but I've been waiting to speak on this topic for a while. It goes so much deeper, but it's all still so simple. Will AI replace beat makers? Yeah, I think it will replace most. But here's the good news. It doesn't matter what your method is for creating. It doesn't matter which DAW or hardware you use, whether you play the keys or you use samples. If you create from your soul, I don't think you can ever be replaced. Alright, music fam, that's all for now. But let me know your thoughts in the comments, because this is definitely one I want to hear your opinion on. If you enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, you all be blessed.